We'll be looking at working with S3 on Node-RED and its stock version on the Prescient designer, essentially. So S3 is a pretty useful service as we have it on AWS, and it is incredibly helpful for long-term storage. So what we'll be looking at is essentially pushing data into S3, pulling data from it, um, and just checking if your data has made it all the way through. So in this video, we will be particularly looking at pushing data into S3 and ensuring that your data is there. So the most important thing that we have over here is number one, your S3 upload node. It sort of looks like this. You have data upload, you have some sort of a config up here. If you do have a mistake in this config, you do have an error thrown out earlier. So unless your settings are in place, you're going to have trouble uploading anyway. So this is what that this is the ultimate portion where we want to send in the data. And what the rest of the pipeline over here looks like is we're just collecting some sensor data outputs, sort of as can be seen here. And we just want to package this into a CSV and upload that into AWS. And all of this needs to be an automatic part of your pipeline. So as we've seen on earlier videos over here, this is a fairly shortened version of what an entire pipeline needs to look like. But we have a portion where you have data being generated, you have another portion where that you have the beginning of that ingestion of data, you have validation, followed by formatting of that data, and then you compile that into a CSV and you upload it, and then you have the S3 output. So we can also see how that sort of works. So you have ingesting data. This is essentially just you have an MQTT output up here. You have that input coming in here. You're formatting that data. All of that data is being processed to some degree, so that you have an output that looks like this. And you'll have validation. Along with that, you will have some level of formatting. Essentially, this allows you to name your CSV. This is a very CSV specific thing, and just depends on what kind of a file structure you want to follow with it. Um, and along with that's happening over here. Over here you have then compilation. The thing is, over here now we are just packaging one payload as is. You can have another layer of compilation right here using your join. The rate limiter is because I just want one file to go through every 30 seconds. You can adjust that according to you. You can send out every file as you want. And then finally you have the S3 upload node. So this is what that entire pipeline essentially looks like. What does the output look like over here? So now within a bit, now we can see that the data is being sent out here. So in some time we will probably have an output that we can see from the S3 node coming in over here. And that essentially tells us that data has been uploaded to the bucket. And so this is that output. So this is coming in from that S3 output. It tells you what kind of an encryption it is following, and you have a tag associated with it. If your upload is unsuccessful, you essentially don't have uh, and well, if you have config problems and stuff like that, you're not gonna get this message coming out. So this can be a pretty decent measure of checking whether your at least your file has the ability to make its way through. The easiest way otherwise is you just do a read on your S3 to ensure that your exact file name is present there too. That's more of an end-to-end test, but we sort of leave that up to you. But yeah, so this is pretty much what that entire pipeline looks like. So this is fairly easy to use. In this, we have all of our data configured. We have the payload set with, as we can see in here, you essentially have your payload set with what kind of CSV you want, and you have your file name property set with the file name you want. And all of that then goes in directly into the S3. Um, this is pretty much all there is to it. Another very similar functionality that you can see to this is through the Azure blob storage, which is also fairly similar. We'll probably make another video on that at some other point. Um, but so that is a different service. You will have a different node there for that. Um, yeah, and this is pretty much the S3 portion of it. It's fairly simple to use. It is extremely useful for your long-term storage. Any other changes that you want, you can go and make them through your S3 console uh, on AWS, and the rest of the parameters are configured here. You can also have multiple configurations being used. You can set what configs are used where. In Node-RED, there will be another video on that for a particular node in a particular block, which makes things a lot easier. Yes, so the next video we over here, we'll probably be looking at Azure in this series. Yeah, thank you.